Anthropos. In Gnosticism, the first human being, also referred to as Adamus, from Hebrew meaning earth. Well, there's a couple of knife names for you. And I broke out my special gray and rust background for this review, and you'll find out why in a moment. We've got a Civivi. We've got a model C903DS-3. Came in today. White Mountain knives. Let's take a look and see why we got the background out. Well, the Civivis I have didn't come in a pouch, so that's interesting and awe-inspiring. Here we have the nice Civivi fleeced microfiber cloth. Some instructions and a little bit about the brand, and there we have a We and Civivi patch. Sticker, excuse me. Patches you sew on things. Let's see what it looks like. This is let me brighten it up a little for you. This is the Civivi Anthropos in kind of a blackwash copper. And blackened or black stonewashed, if you will, Damascus. I've never seen this on a $100 knife before, but you got some beautiful pattern there. That's a little better look. So the Civivi Anthropos. Anthropos? It's a knife I hadn't connected with in the past because it's a little on the smaller side. And I'm not usually partial to smaller knives. I can get all 4 fingers on there, which is okay. If it's in the left hand, my index finger hits the tip of that clip. If it's in the right hand, no hot spots. So there we have the silver and black Civivi logo. The solid, or almost solid, copper scales. Black stainless liners. Backstrap of what looks like copper. Left and right hand mount holes for your deep carry pocket clip. Let's take a look at the other side of the Anthropos. It is a very nice looking knife. It's a heavy knife. Let's start off with that. And not real flippy out of the box. I loosened up the pivot a little bit. Put a little bit of KPL in the pivot. It's not bad. Notice, and if you have an Anthropos, it's probably the same across all the models, including the G10 models, a very interesting flipper tab. It kind of goes forward and doesn't stick up at all. You've got to pull it back abruptly. I find the best technique is pushing down and pulling back hard. Of course, you got the thumb opening hole as well. And you can flip it with that, sort of, but you can't come forward with the action you'd want to burst it out with because you're running into the frame. So you can roll it out pretty easy, and you can probably spidey flick it. I'm not going to try that because the technique is going to be more outward than forward. Anyway, let's close it up and take some weight. Got that glare going again, but zero it out. You ready? 6.235 ounces. It is, for a little guy, kind of a sinker. It's a great looker. I am not so sure about it as an EDC. As such, it might stick around here and it might not. We shall see. Overall length, 7.5 inches, right to the tail there. Blade length to the handle, 3.25. Cutting edge, 3.25, pretty much. Let's look at some thicknesses in millimeters. 3 millimeters for the blade stock, and 0.49 inches for the handle thickness. Couldn't tell you where the balance point is on it. If I put my finger in the finger choil area there on the handle, it drops backwards. It is very butt heavy. You feel it as soon as you pick it up. Some people may like that. It's kind of like, you know what the feeling is? Like having a roll of quarters in your hand. It's dead weight right there in your hand. That makes the blade light. So, you know, the blade has some reflexive action to it because of that. So it makes the blade feel extremely light. Again, the ergos aren't bad. It really does lock into the hand. There's no jimping on the back of the blade. Designed, by the way, from Elijah Isham. Has designed many knives for Wii. I think Best Tech, a bunch of brands. He's a very, very well-known designer. Don't know much about his background. I suppose I could look him up. Just about anybody could. Blade shape, high flat grind. I believe it is listed as a flat grind. Damascus. I'm not sure if it's stainless Damascus or it's straight up high carbon Damascus. It appears to have a very fine edge on it. So this comes down to next to nothing. I don't know if I could even get a read on it. We could give it a try. I think we like to see that in inches usually, right? Let's see if we can get it right behind the edge. 0.03. Yeah, pretty much 0.03 is what I'm getting. I am not a guy that knows much about the thinness and measurements behind the edge, so you figure that one out. It feels like a pretty good thin edge to me. We're going to cast it against some of the usual comparatives here. Griptilian. Griptilian's longer in the handle, and pivot to pivot, slightly longer in the blade, maybe 1/8 of an inch. The Freak, pivot to pivot, about a 1/2 inch longer blade, and almost about 1 inch longer handle. So you got way more handle comfort and ergos there. Finally, Rat 1 from Ontario. Pivot to pivot. We have about 3/4 of an inch longer blade, maybe. It can't be 3/4 because it's not a 4-inch blade. About a 1/2 inch longer blade. About 1 inch longer handle on the Rat. So this is, and I believe this is the first review out on this particular model, the Civivi Anthropos copper handle, black wash, Damascus blade, black wash. If you like it, give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe.